What's up, Grow and Glow Fit family? Welcome back to a new video. What's up? If you're new here, this is the Grow and Glow Fit channel where we share meal prep ideas, workouts, and other health tips while on a budget. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So on this week's menu, we're gonna have the following for breakfast. We're gonna have some cookie butter baked oats, and then for lunch, we're gonna do ground beef pasta with some cottage cheese sauce. Sounds weird, but trust me, it's gonna be a good one. And definitely protein packed. So I'm telling you, this week is probably like one of the best weeks. So you're not going to want to miss out. For breakfast, you're going to need the following ingredients. You're going to need some whole eggs. I'm also going to be using some egg whites, but if you don't have egg whites, you can just use your whole eggs. You're going to need some milk. I'm also going to be using this high protein milkshake as an alternative to some of my milk. I'm going to do both. If you just want to stick with milk, that's also an option for this recipe. You're also going to need some bananas. I'm going to be using 3 bananas for the recipe. You're going to need some Biscoff cookies. Then you're going to need some rolled oats. You're going to want to make sure to get the rolled oats kind because it's going to help with the texture of the dish. You're going to need some protein powder. Per usual, I'm sticking with my Vital Proteins collagen peptides unflavored protein powder, but you can use whatever protein powder you have on hand or you prefer. Then you're going to need some salt, baking powder, cinnamon, and some Biscoff cookie butter. So that's pretty much all you're going to need to get into this recipe. Let's jump right into it. Let's go. Before we go ahead and get started with breakfast, you're going to want to make sure to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. We're going to start off with a big bowl. You are supposed to blend your ingredients. Honestly, I feel like the only thing you really need to blend is your oats. I'm going to go ahead and just blend my oats. I'm going to do 4 cups of oats. All right, then you're going to go ahead and take your bananas and mash them down in your bowl until they're as smooth as possible. All right, I got my 3 bananas mashed down there. I'm gonna add in my 4 cups of oats that I blended up. Then I'm gonna go in and add my 2 egg whites and then my 2 eggs. You're gonna go ahead and add your 2 cups of milk, whatever milk you choose to use. I'm gonna use 1 cup of almond milk. For my 2nd cup of milk, I'm going to be using this strawberry banana high protein milkshake. Then you're gonna add in 4 scoops of protein powder. For the protein powder that I have, it's only about 18 grams of protein, so that's why I'm doing 4 scoops. I know a lot of protein powders tend to be about like 25 grams of protein, so you can do 3 scoops instead of 4 if you're using a different kind of protein. If you're using the same one as me, the Vital Proteins Collagen Peptides one, you're going to want to make sure to do 4 scoops. And we're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1, 2. You're going to do 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay, and then you're going to stir everything till well combined. All right, once you have all your ingredients combined, we're going to go ahead and just set this aside for now. And then you're going to go ahead and take this small bowl and you're going to want to do 4 tablespoons of your Biscoff cookie butter. While this is in the microwave, we're going to set up our baking pan and pour in our mixture that we just made. All right, I have my pan. I'm going to go ahead and just grease it. I'm going to use my spray oil. But if you have butter or whatever you have on hand to grease your pan. I'm going to take a napkin and just spread it around. Make sure to get the sides as well so that it doesn't get stuck when you're trying to take it out. Now that our pan is all nice and greased, we can go ahead and pour in our mixture that we made. All right, once your cookie butter comes out of the microwave, give that a good stir. You're gonna wanna add 3 tablespoons of the 4 tablespoons that you melted into your oats before you throw it into the oven. You're gonna wanna make sure to swirl it around and get that nice and incorporated. All right, once the cookie butter is mixed into your liking, we can go ahead and put this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Let's go. While our baked oats are in the oven, we're going to go ahead and take our Biscoff cookies and a Ziploc baggie, and we're going to crush these up so that they're ready to crumble on top whenever our baked oats come out. And we're only going to be using 4. Try not to leave the chunks really big. All right. And we have our cookie crumbles ready for us when our baked oats come out of the oven. All right, so our baked oats came out of the oven. You can poke it with the toothpick to see if it is fully cooked through. If it needs more time, you can go ahead and put it back in 5 minutes at a time and then make the judgment call, once the toothpick comes out clean. I'm gonna go ahead and slice this into 8 slices off camera, and then we're gonna go ahead and finish topping it off with our drizzle and the crushed cookies. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and plate it on up. All right, and this is what your breakfast will look like for this week. So make sure to give this one a try. It's a little bit of a sweet treat for you guys in the morning. I know you guys are going to enjoy this one because cookie butter is just delicious. Let me know down in the comments if you give this one a try, and I hope that you guys enjoy. Let's get into lunch. All right, for lunch, we're going to be having some spaghetti with ground beef. And our sauce is going to be kind of like a vodka sauce with our tomato, basil, and cottage cheese, but you'll see that in a little bit. For the ingredients to make that recipe, you're going to need some protein pasta. It's just a little bit higher in protein than your regular pasta that you would get at the store. But if they don't have any protein pasta at your store, you can just use a regular box and calculate those macros. You're going to need ground beef. I'm making this for 2 people, so I'm using 2 pounds of ground beef, but if you're only doing it for yourself, I would recommend just using 1 pound. You're going to need some fresh basil, some Rouse tomato basil sauce, fresh Parmesan, cottage cheese. I'm using lactose-free version, but you can use the regular one. Then you're going to need some Roma tomatoes, some garlic, a whole white onion, and then 2 zucchinis. So that's pretty much all you're going to need. Not too many ingredients for this one. I'm sure it's going to be delicious because who doesn't like pasta? So yeah, let's go ahead and get into prepping. Start with boiling our pasta water. Just add a little bit of salt into my pot and let that come to a boil. Let's go ahead, while we wait for that water to boil, we're gonna start cutting up our tomatoes, onion, zucchini, and garlic. So let's go ahead and start prepping. All right, so we're gonna start off by washing our produce and then getting into the chopping of it. All right, and you're gonna wanna make sure to go ahead and just dice up your tomatoes. All right, our tomatoes are all nice and diced. So I'm gonna go ahead and just transfer them over to a plate and set them aside so I can cut my other veggies. All right, we have our 2 zucchinis. We're gonna go ahead and chop them up. You're gonna wanna make sure to keep these slices kind of thick. And then we're gonna wanna also cut these up into like 4s. All right, our zucchini is all done. We're gonna go ahead and set this aside. All right, then you're gonna take your white onion and we're going to peel and dice this as well. I'm only going to be using half of my white onion. And last but not least, we have our basil and our garlic. I'm going to go ahead and grab my grater and I'm just going to grate 4 cloves of garlic. All right, once you have our garlic all grated, you're going to want to take your basil leaves and pick them off the stem. So I'm going to pick off pretty much most of these leaves and chop it down. All right, and we have some fresh basil. Oh my God, this smells amazing. I love the smell of fresh basil. That's pretty much all the prepping that we're going to be doing with our veggies. Let's go ahead and head over to the stove so that we can start cooking our meat and our pasta. All right, as you guys can see, I got my pasta water here. While we wait for that to come to a full boil, I'm gonna go ahead and just spray my spray oil into my pan and set my pan to medium heat. And I'm gonna throw in our garlic and onion in here to saute for a little bit until fragrant. So I did about half of our white onion and half of our garlic for our ground beef. You're gonna wanna add a little bit of salt and pepper to your veggies. All right, so our water is now to a boil. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my protein spaghetti, and I'm going to cook this for about 7 to 9 minutes while I stir it occasionally. All right, so everything is smelling fragrant and our onions are nice and soft and translucent. All right, so we added in our ground beef. I'm just going to season it with some salt, pepper, a little bit of oregano, and some Italian seasoning. And I will have the measurements for how much I use down in the description below. And you're just going to cook your beef until it's nice and browned. All right, that's our timer for our pasta. So we're going to go ahead and check with our noodle and see if it is soft enough. So I am going to remove it from my water and drain it. And you're going to want to save the pan that you just boiled your pasta in, because we're going to be throwing everything back in there. Now that our ground beef is all the way cooked through, I'm going to go ahead and add in half a cup of some classic chicken bone broth. I went ahead and added my zucchini and my tomatoes, and I'm just going to cook that all together in that bone broth for about 5 minutes. While those veggies are getting nice and soft, let's go ahead and start making our sauce. All right, so for our sauce, you're going to need your cottage cheese, your Rouse tomato basil sauce, and then our garlic and basil that we chopped up earlier. You're also going to need that classic chicken bone broth that we just used. You're going to need about a cup of cottage cheese. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, I don't know how people be eating like cottage cheese just like by itself. It kind of gives me the ick, but blend it up, not bad. But I think it's just like a texture texture thing. I'm a big texture eater. All right, so we got a cup of cottage cheese there. And then we're gonna go in with a cup of our tomato sauce. We have a cup of tomato sauce, and then we're gonna add in half a cup of our bone broth. We're also gonna go in and add some of our garlic and then about a tablespoon of basil. All right, we're gonna go ahead and give this a good mix. You're gonna end up with a nice, creamy, smooth sauce. It smells good. Let's give it a taste. That's good. All right, so this is what our sauce is gonna look like. We're obviously gonna add a little bit of seasoning whenever we throw it into our spaghetti, but this is what your sauce is gonna be for your noodles. While we were finishing up making our sauce, I went ahead and set aside our ground beef with our vegetables. All right, then I went ahead and grabbed our pot that we originally made our noodles in, and we're gonna just basically combine everything that we made together. I'm gonna add our cooked noodles. I'm gonna add my ground beef mixture, and we're gonna take our sauce that we just made and dump it right in. And if you want to get the rest of this, you can either add just like a fourth a cup of water and mix it around. I'm gonna actually add a fourth cup of that bone broth that we have for the rest of my bone broth in. I'm also gonna add in the remaining of our white onion and the remainder of our garlic. And we're just gonna combine everything together here. At this point, you're gonna wanna taste your mix here and just make sure everything is seasoned to your liking. Let's go ahead and give it a taste test. Honestly, not bad. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of black pepper, some salt, some oregano, and some Italian seasoning. You're gonna give this a good mix in there. Make sure those seasonings are mixed around. All right, and that's pretty much what our lunch meal prep is gonna look like. Let's go ahead and plate it up into our meal prep containers. All right, so I went ahead and plated my pasta. I did about a cup and a half of pasta, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just top it off with a little bit of basil, not too much. It is a strong taste. And then you're gonna do 2 tablespoons of parm on top. All right, and there you have it. You have a high protein, creamy, delicious spaghetti. So yeah, make sure to give this one a try and enjoy. And that's a wrap on this week's video. Thanks for tuning in to Grow and Glow Fit. And let me know down in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like the video, what you guys thought of this week's recipes and what you would like to see next. Remember to grow stronger, glow brighter, and get fit. See you all in the next one. Bye.